Okay, this is going to be a video about some of the tracks that can be found in this area of the Rocky Mountains where I'm at. It's just pretty much what these tracks are and how to distinguish them from different tracks, and also why you need to know what kind of tracks these are. And that is, when you're trapping, you're not just going to find a place where a lot of tracks are and say, okay, there's tracks here, then I'm going to set my trap here, because you need to know what those tracks are. Even if you're not tracking the animal to find it, you're tracking, you have to be able to read tracks and know what they are, so you're able to know where to set your trap. And so that's kind of the premise of this video. This is a deer track. Okay, so we're going to talk about deer tracks, and as you can see, the drag marks, and that'll come into play with this section of video. These are deer tracks. You can see by the drag marks. Deer drag their hooves, and if you notice, there's two distinct separate lines, and that's from their hooves that have the points dragging. And so you can usually tell these deer by the drag marks, even if you can't look in there and say it's a split hoof and you know it's a deer. So that's a quick way to tell if it's a deer. Now these are still deer, but you can see how these are separate and they don't have the track marks. I'm going to show you why. Okay, so you can see the fence, and then it comes into those tracks that I was talking about before, those deer tracks. And you can see how they jump. The deer will jump across the fence and come here. And there's no drag marks because that deer is still traveling fast when it's jumping. And now, when you start getting further away from the fence, you can see how it starts to drag again. So, looking at tracks that drag is a pretty good way of telling whether this is deer or not. Every track that drags isn't going to be deer, but if you can see drag marks, it's most likely going to be deer. Okay, so I'm above on a road right next to my house, right over there. And if you look down, you can see the pond that's frozen. I'm going to zoom up on here. And like I was talking about before with the deer, you can see the drag marks. And without even going down there, you could tell that these are deer. So you can see, even if you can't see the individual tracks, how you see the two lines of the tracks themselves and the drag marks. That's a deer. Okay, so for this track, you can see it's a dog, and you can see how it's a little bit smaller, even for a dog, and how it's skinnier, and that you can tell it's a fox. These tracks are in a straight line, and when a fox is trotting, it usually puts one foot in front of the other, like this, and so you can pretty much see that this is a fox just by looking down it as a straight line. This is a coyote track, and you can see how it's wider than a fox, and it's a little bit bigger, but it's still not as big as your average pet dog. These tracks are more staggered than the fox, and so by looking at this, you can pretty much tell that it's a coyote. And if you can see how these tracks are staggered, left, right, left, right, left, right, I'm going to take a guess and say that's a coyote. So with these tracks, these are obviously rabbit. You can see how it gets going, and then boom, that jump there and the jump. So you can see how it's starting out maybe 9 inches apart, and then they jump all the way to 3 feet apart. So you can see that this rabbit is running. It might be running from something, or it might be just wanting to get out of the wind. Okay, I can show you why a rabbit track looks like this, and this is like the ultimate rabbit track right here. Okay, so here's the back feet of the rabbit, and here's the front feet, and they are crisscrossed, but I'm going to show you why. When a rabbit is going, it'll move front feet, back feet. Then the next track, its front feet will still be moving, and it'll push off, back feet, land, front feet, and then back feet again, and do the same thing. Jump, front feet, back feet. And so that's how you get this 2 in the back, 2 in the front look of a rabbit track. This was a couple videos that I put together from maybe 2 days worth of looking around and finding different kind of tracks. So it's going to be different lighting conditions and different types of stuff, but we'll see how it goes. So okay, thanks guys for watching. Please remember to like, hopefully not dislike, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to check out our Facebook page at MotherEarth'sClassroom. So check that out and tell me what you think. Thanks guys.